Hello everyone, long time no see. This is Philip from Dennis. This video is the project breakdown to the song Fake Disease by Dennis. This song is more complicated than the previous song, Tragic Theme. Tragic Theme was the first single released from the Dennis Birmingham project. Birmingham is the name of the album, and this is the second single release. But unlike the previous song, this song is not an instrumental, it has vocals as well. But there's no vocals in this project because we're working on the production in Fruity Loops. So this is the Fruity Loop stage, which is producing of the project. So the first thing I'm going to show you here is piano. Now there's two layers of piano. If you can see the mouse hovering here, we're going to click onto piano 1, and all of this is pretty much programmed. So we'll just we'll click onto pattern here, and I will play that for you. Now there's a slight variation because we start off with one single note on the first chord, and then on the piano 2 is exactly the same pattern, but instead we're starting the first note as a chord. So you get this and then it just you don't need it to start so thin. You'll see the difference to this one. See, that sounds better when it transitions into the next, and it just repeats itself. It's an arpeggio. So we just go piano 1, so I will get into what type of chords I've used into a different video, which will be the keyboard piano tutorial, but not for this song. I believe it starts off in D minor. So anyway, that's the piano part. Now let's break it up into. So we've got the pattern instrumental bay here. I've organised it into drums, instrumentals. We're going to instrumentals. I've used direct wave piano, and I've added a little bit of reverb here. Diffusion. I'm not sure if I touched diffusion, but there's no delay on it. I did increase the sustain, and I did increase the release to about 3 point, to about where the controls are here. So we just get that. I don't think I wired this piano. This is exactly just it from direct wave. Okay, so that's the piano sound that I used. We'll go into it's very thin here. It's just the piano on repeat, and then obviously in the final recording, there's the vocals start pretty soon. But it's a pretty thin beginning song. It just starts off with one layer of instrument, but the piano really does fill it out. I guess piano instruments designed to do that. This is no project where we have like 700 pianos layered on top of each other. Unlike some people who we're not going to name at this point. Okay, he layered 11 pianos, but why he did that, I don't know. Probably to make it sound good. made it a bit louder so you can hear it better. Now this violin sample was actually created in Cubase, in a program called Cubase, which I have on the Windows as well, for quick short edits to pull into the project. It was a dry violin, I believe. Let's have a look. So the violin you're looking at here, violin 1, is wired into the mixer. You probably should wire all instruments into the mixer, but I just don't do it because I don't need to do it. And because I'm lazy. Even though I'm not lazy, but I am, if you know what I mean. So, if we listen to it dry, that's it. We used reverb 2 and convolver. So we'll switch it on. So now you can hear the reverb coming back. When we add convolver, it gives it a more fuller and more nice reverb sound. Reverb 2 was always falling short. You always needed to add convolver to it to make it sound really epic. I know there's a more advanced way to use convolver, but I don't have any of the presets. For some reason I don't have the presets to go into convolver and really mess around with it, but I don't really have time to mess around with convolver. I just add it quickly just to make what I need to make. So we have this short breakdown here as well. And then it kicks into the well, that was a bit too loud. So then it kicks into the drum part. So this piano 2, we've broken down what that does. One of the first what's it? What do they call it? The thing that really adds to the flavour here in the song, that really changes it, is just becomes a more fuller song. The bass kicks in and the drums kick in. So we'll just play the bass. And that's just looped using FL Slayer as the type of bass. These are the settings used. It was E bass, and it comes from the preset E bass 2. It's got a nice flangey kind of sound. Single coil, dry mode, none. Is it a dry one? Yeah, it's completely dry. It's not wired, so there's no reverb in it. So that's basically it with the bass. Pretty simple. We'll go into the bass line of the chorus. Oh no, that's the bridge. That's quite a cool thing. It just makes it a bit. It gives it more. You'll see why I did that with the bass, because it's not the same. It's more it makes the song more interesting. I mean, it gives it more of that progressive feel. So the whole point of progressiveness in music is just so the listener doesn't get bored. But also, what this bass line does here is it creates an urgency. Like, it makes it sound, now this is urgent. This is serious. Now this is urgent because we're gonna go into the chorus. That's basically the emotion that grips you in this bass line. And then in this is where the second piano layer comes on, because in the bridge, so you just got this, and that just repeats on top of. Well, that just repeats, and it just, and then this is the violin that we showed before, but this is the violin specifically for this bridge. Just adds to the urgency, and then we add a dramatic high string in the 6D D6 note. Again, the urgency. So we're going to play this, and then before we go into the chorus, we've used the trombone. I don't think the trombone is wired to anything. I think it's just dry. So when we play that, now this all together. And then that goes in straight into the chorus, and that's it. So that you see that urgency. It creates that urgency, like the build up to transition into the chorus. So it's just building up, and then bang, it's the chorus, all guns blazing. Now you might be saying, Phil, you've ignored the drums. Yeah, I kind of just drifted into the bridge. So I'm going to be going back in reverse to the drums. So I'll be breaking these down. So how does this get kicked? So this is the snare sound I took from Cubase and just turned it into a and I have to double it because it's just not loud enough by itself, and they're both on maximum volume, so use the basic hat here. I used the basic hat. I'm not sure if that was the hat that came with the project, but it sounds good. So, worth noting here, not really sure why I used that, but it does sound good though. I mean, when I was producing it, I mean, I know why when you... I mean, okay, so anyway, this is the sound I've used, and they're both wired. The kick and this other, was it overhead kick, was wired into here, and I've just added reverb 2 and convolver again. the same old stuff. Just makes it sound like it gives it a nice studio sound. So you got that nice bass. This is I think this is to create the higher frequencies in the kick, so you just get. We use the hat top here. Now, what's really important is that the envelope is controlled. So I switched on time here, and because if you don't switch it on, you get that. You see, that's the difference. All the difference that little thing makes in the envelope there, the time envelope. Very important that when you're trying to get the drums to do something, because we haven't got live drums. So usually the drummer would be controlling that. The drummer would be controlling it, it'd be going, but we don't have a drummer, so this is what we've got. So we got. Maybe you get that nice reverb off the snare as well. And we've also added a short violin too. So that's sounding pretty nice. Obviously there's not too many different drum variations. There's 4 different drum variations. There's small differences between them. I think it's just a difference in like a certain crash. Oh yeah, this one has a double snare ending. And then you have this one. And then this one is to take it, is to transition it into the chorus. And that transition. And then this is a different filler. And that just adds to the I've used different crashes, and I've also used different panning as well to make the drums stereo worthy. And there's some toms as well at the end. Oh yeah, nice. These are such subtle differences. Drums 5 is repeated twice here, but drum 6 is in the middle here. There are differences between the two. So when we hear it all together, what you're hearing now is over-compression, and the reason why over-compression has happened is because I'm running a compressor on the project. But that's because later I'm going to mix the project properly, and then there won't be the over-compression happening. The over-compression is happening because all the instruments are too loud, but it doesn't matter when you're just doing this for reference. Well, it does matter a little bit. If it's happening too much, then you're probably doing something wrong. So when we look at the basic Nope, I haven't done anything with velocity there. Let's just see this now. Nope, I haven't done anything with the velocities there, so that's kept the same. It's just worth knowing. What's interesting here is I've put the crashes in manually. It's so I don't have to create as many drum patterns. I mean, they're exactly the same as in the drum machine, but I've put these crashes at the beginning because some of them are slightly different, as you can see by the numbers they're different. But it was just so I didn't have to produce as many drum patterns, just to reduce the number of drum. I mean, there's no wrong or right answer. You could do more drum patterns, but I just decided to do less drum patterns there. It's whatever you prefer to do, basically. So that's the first section of the song. That's the verse. Verse 1, I don't know, bridge or transition. Verse 2, then we got the bridge or the urgency part, taking you into the chorus. So now we're going to break down the chorus. So before we listen to it in its entirety, we'll listen to it in its all broken down. So this is the piano part. Now obviously it doesn't go dun 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 dun. It goes dun 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 dun. And how I did that effect is, if you look down in the box here where the mouse is, you'll see the velocity control, and that's exactly what the velocity is doing. It's striking these notes louder, so you get that nice. So you're getting that nice coffee, tea, coffee, tea, coffee, coffee, tea, coffee, tea, coffee, coffee, tea rhythm. So you're going coffee, tea, coffee, tea. So you go coffee, tea, coffee, tea, coffee, coffee, tea, coffee, tea, coffee, coffee, tea, coffee, tea, coffee. Now that piano bit will never be the same again. And it's just repeated all the way through. It's exactly the same. And starts off with a was it A sharp? I think it's A sharp. I think it's an A major, A sharp major, I think. Then C major, and then D minor, then back to C major. But yeah, so pretty much generic chord progression, but it's probably not generic in today's standards because commercial music doesn't seem to use my chord progressions. I don't know why. I mean, it used to, but now this is not so generic. It's probably different. I don't know. This is the second layer of piano here. So, wanted to give it that was it that James Horner. James Horner's a composer. He's the music composer of films like The Titanic and A Beautiful Mind. But this sound, I was looking at creating that mathematics wooden library kind of sound. Well, they are not. You can't really hear it that well in the final mix, but and it's basically just it's using triplets in the deeper tone. So if we let's switch all this off and let's listen to them both together, the two pianos, and just go. Creates that deeper tone. And then this strings here, FLS strings. I've only used one set of strings on here. These are following exactly the same chords as the piano, but they're just solid length notes. Just solid chords, just changing at each measure. Well, apart from that one cuts in late, because that's what the piano does. Dun, 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 dun. So instead of this one's different because I play like I play nine of those, and then there I play just 7 of these. So I mean technically it's 4/4, but you could push it. You could say it's 8/4, but you could say, oh yeah, but the measure doesn't really finish until there. Therefore, meaning it doesn't end until here. But you can still split it. So keep it in 4/4. I think that's easier. You've got the bass. So this part of the bass is the same. So we've got. And then this part's repeated here, this second section, but the difference is the note is just a much deeper note, just to give it a different kind of flavour. So that's the first one, and when we do exactly the same on the second part, but instead we go instead we go instead of going up to the C, we go down to the G and back to C. So it's the same, just apart from that note. So these I've used, probably they call it a substitute note. So it just sounds kind of more interesting to listen to. So you got the strings there. So you got the piano. So we'll switch everything on again. Okay, so then there's 2 sets of drums. They're doing slightly different things. And then that's the difference on drums 10. There's just more drive in it. And then also there's that the toms ending, the ending of the fill. There's a fill at the end, so it gets you ready to go back into the verse transition. Now, to increase the harsh tones in the chorus, we've used this. So we've got this part. So let's break up down this guitar first. So this one is, we used power rock. We took off the hold. I think I've reduced the feedback as well, so you don't get that feedback off it. It just increases the presence of that melody or note, the note progressions. And then here, so we use the dry note of rock as well, but just using a deeper octave. And then overdrive guitar 2 is to match the bass line. Now they're both connected to reverb, so. And I've added 2 guitar tones and layered them on top of each other to give it that heavier sound. So there's probably too many instruments in here, to be honest, but I think I do address it by panning later, but it's still too much. Oh my, 228. Oh, okay. 228. Yes, that number's following me everywhere. 228. It's not that it's anybody's birthday or anything. So these are the same again, but guitar 2 is following the bass line. So you got the deeper, you got the G instead of the C. It goes down to the G as opposed up to the C, then up again. So it descends then ascends. So that's the overdrive guitar. So what I've done here is I've cut the frequency out so it wouldn't conflict with the bass. Oh no, I didn't do that on this one. Okay, I didn't use parametric, I used it on the other guitar. So they're both wired, the power down and the power up #2 is wired into the mixer to add some reverb and add some convolver again. I use a lot of these too. Probably too much. I don't use them on the vocals, but unless the vocals are going to be in the project, but usually they're not. But I will get to a project where I do have the vocals in there. So that's nearly the whole chorus done. Now, let's get to the exciting bit, the sine wave. So bass 4 is the transitional part. Okay, so we've used 3x oscillator here. Oscillator 1 sine wave, oscillator 2 sine wave, oscillator 3 sine wave. Wrote the notes out here, and then it's wired into the mixer. This is it dry without any reverb. Add reverb 2 and convolver. Sounds perfect. Doesn't that sound wonderful? Wouldn't you want that to be your soundtrack thing? So that's the sine wave part. So that's the chorus in its entirety, and it repeats over here along with the same bridge chorus thing. The only thing I'm going to talk about here, there are some more drum variations as well. /2. I think that was used. I'm not sure what the difference is between normal drumsticks and /2. Probably a was it a hi-hat or a cymbal is different or something. I've done it for some reason, but I don't know why. But let's see the difference. Ah, yeah, it's the difference. The snare's different here. Just a small little detail. It's nearly the same. Just that little difference. That snare's not there. That extra snare's not there. So you see here. You see here where I'm pointing. That's where the extra snares, and that's switched on. But on 2, that's not there. It's disappeared. 6. So that's the difference. Small difference. Right there. Bass 4 repeats twice to create 8 sections. And that's that bit. It's very similar to this bit. It's basically the same as that, but more simple to get you to prepare for the verse 3, which is it's going back into the sound of verse 2, which is just but it's bass 1 being repeated again. So that's it. Now what we go into this last bit, this long last bit here. What's interesting is this is in groups of 16, these parts. So so the piano is basically 8 notes across each bar. Each bar is 8 notes. If it's 8 notes, it's the same. And then on the 3rd bar, for some reason, we do 9/8. We could say it's 9/8 times. I mean, it's not 9/8 time signature, but we play this 9 and we play it 7, so it's 8/8, 9/7. Well, what happens here is this pattern here is basically 4, a bar 4, but the next pattern, the alternation, because there's 5 transitions in the notes. If you look here, well, it's better to look up where I've got the mouse circling. It's got 5 bars before it transitions into the next set of chords. Then it does 5 again. If you look at the bass line, that's what happens here. It's 5 bars. So even though there's no wacky weird times in this song, it is kind of weird. I mean, here it kind of goes, it goes back to normal. This bit's 4, or you could say it's 8 bars. 8 bar transition there. The strings are just following the piano, but that it's not doing the it's not playing the sustain second and the sustain fourth notes. It's just holding. Let me just play the two same chords but in different octaves, a higher octave and a low octave, just to fill out the strings. So it's just stronger, the sound. And then there's drums 10 slash 3, drums 10 4, drums 10 5, drums 10 6, drums 10 6. Seems to be a lot of variation here with the drums, and I don't remember what the differences are. And here we've kept the overdrive guitar instrument in, so which is the 2 sounds here, dumb and rock, which have reverb on them. This one has reverb and convolver, but also has parametric EQ on it to cut out the bass. This is just to increase the heaviness with the drums. With the bass and the piano. Because later I'm going to add another keyboard sound, which cannot be recorded on here. It has to be played live and recorded via microphone, and it's the Yamaha keyboard that I also used in the song Tragic Theme, which is the Cosmic preset that's on that keyboard. So enough of that bit. The song here just closes, it just and then it's an alternation on drum 3. Drums 3 I put drums 2. Drums #2 has that fill at the end, so the song can finally just resolve, it can just end. there's a nice little piano melody at the end for piano 10. Now there's a few things to say about this end part. So that nice strong deep piano part along with the bass creates that nice transition off the piano. Dum. So you get that dum. You don't hear that in modern songs now. But you hear it in this modern song. And it basically ends here. Now, what you look at the tempo part, 98. Here's the tempo change. I manually, then the tempo slows down by about 5 points to 93. It goes from 98 to 93 to create that live kind of sound. But the piano is meant to slow at the end. And it's just a nice little touch to put at the end of the song. And we do that by selecting record. So when I do that, you press that there, and then you click everything, and then you're good to go. And then you start editing the tempo. Via here, dragging with a mouse. There's probably a better way to do it, but that's the way I did it. I gradually lower the tempo. And that is basically it for this video. So if you enjoyed the video, subscribe to the channel. And if you want to check out the song, the links are in the description, in the sidebar, probably on the end screen as well. So have a great evening, guys, or a great day. And I don't know how long that was, 47 minutes about. So yeah, so that's the first part. That's the Fruity Loop studio behind the scenes, or behind the project breakdown. And later I'll be making a video breaking down the mixing, the recording using Cubase and Garageband in a later video. You won't be able to see me in the corner because I still don't have a camera to do that. But hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learnt something. Or if you just out of curiosity wondered how this was made, you got something out of it today. Okay, goodbye guys.